Welcome back, guys, to the Sooner Saloon. I'm here with Emerson Campbell, and Oklahoma fans have been wondering who all have we got as in transfer portal. Just an update. So we're going to go through the whole list here of who we've gotten. Let's get straight into it. We've gotten Daniel Parker from Missouri, tight end. We've got McCade Matower from California. He's an interior offensive lineman. He's an offensive guard. We have T.D. Roof, son of Ted Roof, the co-defensive coordinator from Appalachian State. We have Dylan Gabriel, quarterback at UCF. He's got chemistry with Jeff Lebby already. And Hawaii defensive lineman Jonah Laulu. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm going to get it eventually. And then Jeffrey Johnson, defensive lineman Tulane. C.J. Colden, cornerback from Wyoming. Kenny Walker, cornerback from Louisville. And Trey Morrison, cornerback from North Carolina. So Oklahoma's definitely been very active in the transfer portal. Probably the most active team so far within this time period. Lots been happening. Emerson, you got any guys that really stick out to you in this transfer portal?
So obviously we've already talked about Jonah Leulu. I think that's how you say it. Obviously big body guy, had some good production at Hawaii. See if he can be a good contributor and a good depth piece, potential starter on that defensive line that's losing a lot of guys. Staying on the defensive line, Jeffrey Johnson, he's a cat that we saw in the season opener against Tulane. He started all 12 games for the Green Wave this season. Big body, has him listed at 6'3". I've heard he's a little shorter than that, 6'1.5", 6'2". But right under 300 pounds, good size. He had 6 tackles for a loss in 2020, 3.5 sacks, and 2 fumble recoveries. So he's productive, which is good. From everything I've heard on him and seen on him, he's got a really high motor. He always flies to the ball, even when he's away from the play. So really, really a big effort player, which I think is something Brent Venables likes. And honestly, it just seems like he needs to be coached up a little bit, get a little bit discipline down as far as playing with pad level, things like that. But yeah, two really good sized athletes on the D line that are coming in from the transfer portal to hopefully help stymie some of the loss that we have from the draft this year. So those are two good guys to keep an eye on. Ted Roof, or T.D. Roof, Ted Roof's son. Obviously, you can never have too many coaches' kids on a team. I think that's really good for culture. I think that's really good for, helping kids make the right decisions in the off season, because obviously Oklahoma has struggled with that as of late. See what happened last off season. So obviously that's good, and it seems like he plays really physical as well, really hard-nosed kid. So you always want that in a linebacker room, and a linebacker room that's getting pretty full with the freshmen coming in, and there's definitely a lot of speed in that room. So it'll be good to see the competition and how that shakes out in the linebacker room.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, Dylan Gabriel, like you said, a lot of chemistry with Jeff Lebby already. So hopefully he can make a big impact coming in. And maybe a little teaser, maybe him and Jackson Dart. If Oklahoma can land Jackson Dart, there'll be some really good QB competition.
Yeah.
Keep things interesting.
Yeah, Jackson Dart, 5-star guy from USC, as well as Michael Trigg. They took visits to Oklahoma and Ole Miss, so it sounds like those are the two teams that it's coming down to. So we'll see on that. But to go on Dylan Gabriel, obviously he's got the chemistry with Jeff Lebby. They spent one season together as Dylan Gabriel, the starter. Gabriel broke the freshman passing record for UCF, which is a pretty big deal. He had 3,653 yards, 29 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. And during the season, they were the number 5 scoring offense with 43 a game, number 2 total offense, and number 8 passing offense. And Lebby has been, throughout his career as an offensive coordinator, he's been top 10, top 15 in all those categories that I've just mentioned, including plays ran and first downs. So it's going to be really interesting. Gabriel, progressed really well in 2020 as well. He had about 3,500 yards passing. He also had 32 touchdowns and about 4 interceptions. So he's a good guy to get in the portal. Unfortunately, his 2021 season kind of came to an end early. He had a broken collarbone, so we'll see how that's affecting him. A guy that I'm super excited about, Emerson, is Trey Morrison from North Carolina. I think if it's not Dylan Gabriel, this is the most intriguing guy that we've gotten so far. He's played in big games. He lights up running backs and tight ends. He makes huge hits. On his highlight reel, I've seen him get one-handed picks. I've seen him take a pick six to the house. I've seen him come up to the line and blitz off the edge and get a sack. He just has a nose for the football. And, he was mentioned as a Swiss Army knife at NC. So it's a very valuable get, and it's interesting to see where Javelai and BV put this guy, because he can play nickel, he can play safety, he can play corner. It's huge. He's played in big games like the Orange Bowl against Texas A&M. He's played against Clemson, so he's seen some talent, and very talented guy. I recommend going and watching his highlight reel.
That's interesting that you say he's a Swiss Army knife, because if Oklahoma fans remember, about a year ago, they had a guy come out of nowhere on the depth chart after an injury as a Swiss Army knife, and got a lot of playing time, and eventually got drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers and was playing in the playoffs last week and had a lot of great pass breakups and a lot of nice plays, and that was Trey Norwood. So obviously you want guys like that in your backfield that are smart players, and they have a nose for where the football's going to go, and instincts and ball skills to capitalize on that. Like you said, get a pick six. How often do we see defensive backs drop? Look at Key Lawrence. He dropped a pick six against Baylor, I do believe. That would have changed the game. So anyway, yeah, this kid seems like young man. He seems like a very physical player, very smart, a great addition. And if you just look at the defensive backs that they got coming in, Oklahoma went 3 for 3 on guys that they targeted in the portal and landed. So it seems like, at least in the transfer portal, Brent Venables and his staff are not going to have a hard time landing a lot of the players that they want. And obviously the secondary has been the source of many woes for Oklahoma fans over the past couple of years. But this is literally all you can ask for, is bringing in guys with experience or at least a lot of upside to try and fill that secondary room and get some. And like you said, we had a true freshman starting at nickel last year and no one behind him in Billy Bowman. So worst case scenario, yeah, this kid can come in and play nickel and at least add some depth to that position. And who knows, he may usurp Billy Bowman and get the starting spot. Everything is wide open in this offseason as far as roster spots and depth. So, yeah, very interesting to keep an eye on Trey Morrison. I like that. And I will say about Jeffrey Johnson real quick, back to the Tulane guy. He's from Louisiana, and teams like LSU and Georgia were in contention for him regarding his commitment.
I believe Alabama was as well.
Yeah, so you have, 3 of the biggest heavy hitters, the 3 last national championship winners, all going for this cat. And he's from Louisiana, and Oklahoma was able to come in with a brand new staff that's, unproven together. Obviously, Jeff Bates has a lot of success at Clemson, or Todd Bates, sorry. So, it's just a testament to what Brent Venables and his staff are doing on the recruiting trail and in the portal as far as getting this roster put back together, rather. So it's very exciting.
Right. And, not only us getting Trey Morrison, we get Kenny Walker from Louisville and C.J. Colden from Wyoming. So that's adding depth at that cornerback position because, there's a point in time where Woody Washington and DJ Graham were out. And we were with Jaden Davis, Latrell McCutcheon, and we were getting beat deep a lot. 50-50 balls were getting caught in the end zone on fourth downs, and it's not where we wanted to be. So adding the depth is very key, especially with getting, a guy like Jaron Kanik, whether it's linebacker, safety, nickel. He's kind of the same way. He's kind of going to be like a Swiss Army knife. You can put him anywhere, and he's going to succeed. He's going to be a very talented kid.
Yeah.
So
I know, and then the Kenai Walker kid coming in, he's a freshman, so he obviously has a lot of eligibility left. Probably wouldn't expect him to start right away, but another depth piece and another guy that they can get developed. And then the C.J. Colden player out of Wyoming, I don't know what year he's in, but, if they're good enough for Brett Venables and he likes them, they're good enough for me.
Right. You have to trust that defensive staff because I 100% believe that they are going to be elite within 3 seasons. And I'm talking 3 to 5 seasons, it's going to be like an Alabama type of defense just because I trust the recruiting. I trust what they can do through the transfer portal. And not only that, but the progression of players. I want to talk about
Jackson
this.
Dart, going back to, I just wanted to say on Jackson Dart and Michael Trigg. Jackson Dart went into the portal immediately as soon as Caleb Williams, basically right after Caleb Williams said he was going into the portal because you can kind of tell Jackson Dart sees the writing on the wall. And apparently he was pretty upset and he felt like he had been betrayed when he heard about the proposed NIL deal for Caleb Williams. So, and then Michael Trigg, his tight end, was soon to follow. So it seems like they're kind of a duo. Wherever Dart goes, Trigg will follow. And then with Mekhi Wingo, Oklahoma's still in his top 4. He's from Mizzou, a really promising freshman. And having a guy like Daniel Parker from Mizzou, the tight end, the self-proclaimed best blocking tight end in the country, already, on your roster, hopefully he's doing a lot of work and is in Mekhi Wingo's ear about getting him into Norman, which would be another really great addition. And that would be three really good defensive line additions over the course of one offseason.
Right, and it's huge to get Daniel Parker early because this is a guy that can go recruit him. They've both been on the same team, but getting Daniel Parker, the tight end, we're thin at that H-back tight end position. And, we lose Stogner, we lose Jeremiah Hall. So, that gives us solid depth. We have some talented freshmen coming in, Jason Llewellyn and Caden Hills, but I don't think they're going to be quite ready to step into a role like that. So, Braden Willis has made some key blocks, some key catches too. So that's very nice getting that depth and just seeing what Jeff Lebby's going to write up with these guys. Probably going to be on the field at the same time at some point during this next season. So, he runs the ball well and mixes it up well. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. And I want to talk about McCade Mattower, interior offensive lineman from Cal. He's an offensive guard. So he started for 28 games for Cal. He was second team All Pac-12, and he was also All Pac-12 honorable mention in his 2 seasons. Another depth thing, we lose Marquise Hayes, we lose Tyrese Robinson. Another thing, Bo Bedenbow goes and gets Pac-12 guys, just like last offseason, goes and gets Chris Murray. So good addition, and I'm excited to see what this line's going to look like next season to see if they can progress really well.
Yeah. Well, it was 2 seasons ago he got Chris Murray. And then last season he got Robert Conjul, right?
That's right. So, I know it's been all Pac-12 guys recently.
Right. And I think Bill Bedenbow likes offensive linemen out of that conference and out of that part of the country. Maybe he likes some of the blocking schemes that they do out there. Maybe he likes the kind of the game awareness and some of the scheming that they do out there. Maybe that's why he gets them. But yeah, this guy seems like at least another depth piece. He started, 2 full seasons basically at Cal. So obviously another experienced player. And yeah, this kind of seems like the recipe that Bill Bedenbaugh is going to roll with every offseason, trying to get at least one transfer interior guy to help bolster that depth, which is good.
Yeah, definitely.
I just want to talk about transfer portal losses for Oklahoma. Mario Williams officially commits to USC. So we are still waiting on Caleb Williams for his decision. And that's pretty much all I really want to say about that. With Mario Williams going to USC, that's kind of a good indicator as, another reason for Caleb Williams to, you would think, go to USC.
Yeah,
they want to play
he's not coming back to OU. We can kind of solidify that much.
Yeah. Agreed. And then Matrell McCutcheon is still in the portal. And, man, if you've been following him on Twitter, that's been a pretty entertaining story for a while. So, yeah. That's all I got to say on that. Well, I got to say, Perrion Winfrey and Nick Benito, they are absolute savages, and they seem like they are calling people out now that they're in the draft. They're speaking their mind to some of the younger players, and you saw it earlier with when the coaching staff left, how they felt about that. So it's pretty entertaining. If you don't already follow Perrion Winfrey and Nick Benito, you need to go follow them and see what they've been saying out there. It's pretty good.
I will say that the workouts for Coach Schmidt have started. And I've heard they're hellacious, man. I guess, I don't know who it was exactly. I think it might have been Perrion that said, his high school workouts were tougher than Lincoln's when he was in high school.
I've heard that too. I heard that from a couple
and it makes
different players
sense.
report that.
It does make sense with the lack of physicality that they have. I mean, they're efficient and they get the job done, but once you get into games like the college football playoff, they just get torn up, and it's like, what's the real issue here?
Well, I mean, just look at for the last 2 seasons since 2020, the offensive line has been out of shape and they've looked sluggish, at least for the first half of the season. This year they looked bad pretty much the whole year. So and offensive linemen is going to be the group that struggles the most with staying in shape and staying conditioned, just because they're bigger guys and they're going to get winded faster. So just looking at the offensive line and how they've played, you can tell something has been lacking in the strength and conditioning department, because Bill Bedenbaugh has a proven track record and he knows how to evaluate and develop talent. So I don't think it's coaching. So yeah, hopefully that's something that we see change relatively soon under Schmitty, and pray for those guys out. Go through those workouts in Norman, because they definitely sound like they are brutal.
Right. Like I said, 3 to 5 seasons, this defense is going to be elite. It's going to be top level. Yeah. So with that being said, I've pretty much said what I need to. Do you have anything else to wrap this thing up?
Yeah, just a quick couple staff updates. Ty Darlington, he was a grad assistant for the Sooners for the past couple of years. I think Nick was saying he played like in 2012, 2013, something like that at Oklahoma.
Yeah, in that era.
Somewhere in there, something like that. Don't quote us on that. He is headed to Florida. He got a coaching position there, or a staff position. I don't know if he's going to be an analyst or whatever. But obviously, forever a Sooner. He had a really nice, heartfelt message going out on Twitter. So good for him. And then Oklahoma adds LaDamian Washington to their staff as an offensive analyst and a co-wide receiver coach, which I think is good, because he had Cale Gundy as the only wide receivers coach before that on this staff, and he's never really, played wide receiver. But obviously he's an offensive guy. But it's good to have someone who actually played wide receiver in that room, coaching those kids up as the co-wide receiver coach. I think he's like inside wide receiver coach. I'm not entirely sure. But this was a guy that played at Mizzou on that Mizzou when they made the SEC championship, and they were SEC East champs. He was a team captain on that team. So obviously he had a lot of success. I think he bounced around in the NFL for a couple years. So he has exposure to a lot of different offensive schemes, which is good. So I think that's a really good addition. Obviously, a guy that knows SEC country. And that's what it seems like Brent Venables is going after, SEC guys and guys that are in the South that know that area and can recruit it and are familiar with that geographic of the country. So just wanted to touch on that real quick. Another good addition for the staff.
I agree, and it's the perfect combination. So it's definitely exciting going forward what this team's going to look like. But I believe our next video is probably going to be, a 2021 season recap, what we thought of it, and, what to look forward to in 2022. So with that being said,
and we will get those boards updated.
Yes.
We're going to have some nice trackers up there for you guys to keep track of the staff, portal additions and subtractions. We'll put our way too early top 25 up there. So stay tuned. We're going to get all that updated. Be patient with us, folks. We appreciate it, and thanks for watching.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. With that being said, Boomer Sooner.